So we have our welcome and announcements. Threshold moment is that moment that we move out of the ordinary into the extraordinary, right? So this morning it was when we turned the lights out and we began to settle ourselves into our task through really connecting with God. So welcome and announcements happen, and then, let's do this. I need some people I'm going to hand out little bells. Little bell, little bell, little bell, little bell, little bell. I'm trusting the Spirit is letting me give these to people who won't, play them at the wrong time. No, there is no wrong time. No, the right time is when I tell you to, all right? So, when I say, out of the announcements, I invite you to take a deep breath. Imagine that what is above you is a starlit night. And in this moment, all is calm, all is bright. And then a soloist sings, and the choir does a little repeat. Chuck will be the solo, and I'll be the choir.
Silent night, holy night.
Choir comes in. Silent. You can be the choir with me.
It was the night when peace was born, and just as now the world was torn, but all was calm and all was bright. The star above gave out its light. Dear people all around the world, let us unite and we will show how peace can change us, how peace can help us grow.
So that's the choir, right? We'll have that written out for them. And then the music continues to underscore as I use my series synopsis. This year is the 200th anniversary of the debut of Silent Night, Holy Night. This hymn has become one of the best loved moments of many a Christmas Eve. Something mystical happens when we light our candles and sing the hope of the world. This season we're going to celebrate that message all Advent long and be reminded of what that song can teach us about who we are in the world and how we bring a message of peace, joy, hope, and love to all the world. And so let us, this week, look at verse 1. I invite you to whisper it with me as if we are speaking it in a room where there is a sleeping child. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. And then I'm going to do a little bit of the synopsis for week 1. It's the only time when there are 2 synopses going on because we have to introduce the series. But my synopses I've written for week 1, one of the most famous stories about this beloved hymn took place in World War I. British and German soldiers on the front line called a truce on Christmas Day, and in the peace and quiet of the truce, they could hear each other sing Silent Night, each in their own language. And it inspired them to exchange gifts and play games together, if just for a day, to come across and connect because of their common humanity. Humanity is the holy infant for whom God so desires a heavenly peace. Is it possible to bring calm and bright in our own corners of the world? Then the soloist goes.
So let your peace shine in the night.
Silent night.
And let your light burn warm and
Candles
bright.
coming in. Holy night.
This peace we give, the world is born. And in this truth we find our calm.
And then if you have a family who usually does a prayer, you could do that here, or you could just have a couple of readers. We enter this season of waiting. Here goes our bells and chimes. By lighting this first candle, keep it going, anticipating the light of the star that shone over Bethlehem for all to see. Advent God, we open ourselves to hear your call today to become those who not only wait, but also work for peace in our lives, our families, our communities, and our world. And your response is, fill us with your peace and light, make the world so calm and bright. And then the organ or piano, if you're in a traditional classic service, begins and the people stand and we do you don't have to stand, our opening hymn. All right? Woohoo! That's the threshold moment, right? Okay, so you see a threshold moment, my friends, sets the tone. It helps us to enter the journey way better than, let us now stand for our call to worship. Right? Which may set the theme, but we haven't set a mood, right? We're all in our didactic heads. To go on a spiritual journey, we have to immerse ourselves in the feel. We have to get to the mystery. We can do that with bells. We can do it with the song. So it's basically the introit and the call to worship on steroids is what it is, a threshold moment. All right? It's just a little bit more attention. It's like what musical theater does at the beginning to sort of set and get the audience ready for the story. That's what we're doing. We're getting the congregation and those who are going to be walking the spiritual path, we're immersing them in the story. Does that make sense? So what happened out of that was we took that music out from the threshold moment. We let the bells and the chimes come back in, which is, actually, I just made that up today, so I have to put that in the scripts, so it's not in the scripts. Got it? Okay. And then the opening hymn or song happens. And depending on your tradition, whether you're in your classic worship or if you have a more contemporary worship, alternative, whatever you're labeling it these days, you would either use what Chuck started to play, which was a very traditional hymn, or the song that what do we have listed as the song?
Hope of the Nations.
Right, so you'd have that start to come in, maybe even under, fill us with your peace and light, make the world so calm and bright. And you'd have that start, that little rhythm. So that's for the more contemporary service, right?
Hope of the nations, Jesus.
Right, so you see how that transition happens. You know, I am known as the flow queen, my friends. And that is because I know the value of having, once you enter the journey, you don't want to be, you know what I'm talking about, worship that kind of you do something and then the huge energy bomb, right? And then you have to get yourself all in the mood again. So once you go, we pay attention to those transitions and it flows. And I hope from these full scripts you'll see how that can happen because I put in there, underscoring begins, that kind of thing. All right, so.